What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today I'm back with another product review. This time it's the ANOVOS KYLO REN Premier helmet that has actually proved to be quite a divisive product in the Kylo Ren cosplay community. But before we get into any of that, let me give you a brief rundown of the product itself. So the KYLO REN Premier helmet is an ANOVOS constructed product, and if you don't know anything about ANOVOS, that's totally understandable. I didn't either before I purchased this helmet, but either way, ANOVOS is a company that was founded in 2009 in Kenosha, Wisconsin by Dana Gasser and Joe Salcido, and the company creates and markets high-quality, screen-accurate, licensed movie props and costumes designed for the hardcore collector or cosplayer. In their own words, ANOVOS represents the pinnacle of quality in screen-accurate uniforms and prop replicas accomplished by the manufacturing and marketing of limited offerings from movies, television, and contemporary media. But more specifically, the KYLO REN Premier helmet is my very first experience with an ANOVOS product, and it seems to be quite a divisive one because the Kylo cosplaying community was either ecstatically overwhelmed by the quality of the product or underwhelmed by the quality of the product based upon the price point of $699. Now for me personally, by the time the ANOVOS KYLO helmet was released, I had already gone through the process of having the roughly $80 to $90 KYLO REN Black Series helmet modded to my personal satisfaction. When I saw pictures of the ANOVOS helmet, I thought it looked obviously nicer than my helmet, but did it look $700 nice? That's the question that I think a lot of collectors and cosplayers alike are still asking themselves to this day. I ran a poll in the Knights of Ren Facebook group, which I highly recommend you check out if you're trying to build a Kylo costume, and I asked the community, is the ANOVOS Premier KYLO REN helmet worth the $700 price tag? And while this poll is a small sample size, in my opinion it's pretty indicative of the community's stance towards the helmet. As you can see, the vote had over 2 times as many no votes as it did yeses. You can even see my vote in the very lonesome maybe so section, which is just me on an island, which really shows how strongly the community feels about this product one way or the other. And ever since I purchased the product myself, I've admittedly eaten crow and explained that I was wrong about the ANOVOS helmet. I had only seen pictures and thought it was overrated, overpriced, overhyped, you name it. But I'm willing to bet that if you've ever felt the same way, once you've held this ANOVOS KYLO REN helmet in your hands, you'd have a change of heart, because that's exactly what happened to me. When I took this helmet out of the box, I was immediately blown away by the detail, the quality of the construction, the weathering, the chrome, which is incredibly reflective. Every single element left me speechless, and to be honest, thinking about how inaccurately I misjudged and underestimated this product. It's kind of weird actually, because when you look at the pictures of the helmet that many have posted online, including myself, I never feel like they accurately represent just how great this helmet looks. Hopefully this video that I'm showing you now more accurately displays the excellence of the helmet's aesthetics, because I think that as a collector you're really looking for a couple things out of a high-end replica like this. Firstly, you're looking for screen accuracy, which ANOVOS definitely delivers, considering they were given access by Lucasfilm to the original Kylo Ren costume and props as a licensee to produce the high-end replicas they do. So everything from the paint job itself, the size of the helmet, the weathering, the chrome, the interior, everything is as screen accurate as humanly possible. Secondly, you're looking for quality construction. If you're going to be paying roughly $700 for a movie prop, you want to be absolutely certain that you're getting a product that's going to last you a lifetime and be able to handle some trooping sessions or general usage. The fiberglass construction of this helmet feels incredibly substantial and like a legitimate helmet. It doesn't feel plastic and cheap like the Black Series does. It actually feels like it would be Kylo Ren's real helmet, and that's something that's going to go a long way among consumers. And thirdly, and this is something that's probably going to be more of a collector thing than a cosplayer thing, and that's a prop that's going to retain and even increase its value long term. No one has any idea how many of these helmets ANOVOS is going to make. Your guess is as good as mine, but something I can tell you is that they aren't mass producing these things like Hasbro does with the Black Series. So as a collector, whether you plan on keeping this item forever or not, you can feel pretty confident that long term this helmet should retain its value, if not increase in value, because of the limited quantity of them, the demand, and of course the fact that they're the most accurate licensed replica on the market. And there's also 3 other things that you'll get when you purchase an ANOVOS KYLO REN Premier helmet, and you won't find any of these things listed in a product description, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. And those 3 things are feelings mostly, and they're confidence, power, and intimidation. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so on a more serious note, a big hurdle for most people deciding whether or not to purchase this ANOVOS KYLO REN Premier helmet is the price point of $699. I actually ran another poll last week where I asked the Knights of Ren community just how low the price of this helmet would have to fall in order for them to take the plunge and purchase their own. The results were sort of scattered, but it seems as if the majority of these very serious collectors and cosplayers feel that the price is right for them somewhere between $400 and $500. What's interesting about this data via this small sample size is that I used to feel the exact same way. When this helmet was going for $700 initially, I never had any intention on purchasing it because I just didn't feel comfortable dropping that much cash on one single costume piece. But when a user in the Knights of Ren Facebook group posted that the helmets were being sold by a company called Toying Toys on Jet for a discounted rate, I immediately was intrigued. I looked into it, put the item in my cart, and got a grand total of $523 due for the helmet. Now it's amazing what a discounted price of roughly $180 can do for your overall mindset towards a product, because like I said, I never considered buying this helmet until they became available at the lower price point, and once they did, I had one of the most difficult internal struggles I've ever experienced. First world problems, I know. I went back and forth and hovered my mouse over the submit order button, then closed out the page and repeated that process a number of times over the course of like 48 hours. By the time I was finally ready to submit my order, Toying Toys sold out their helmets and the price had gone back up to $700 officially from other sellers. But another user posted that the helmets were still available on Amazon and there were 2 left for a total price of around $560 a piece. Well, I wavered on the decision again until there was just 1 left in stock, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm absolutely thrilled that I did. I know that story is a little long, but I felt I needed to share it because even though I only paid $560 and not the full $700, after unboxing the helmet and being completely blown away by the quality, I'd pay the full $700 for it. It's that great of a product, and if you can find it at a discounted rate again, then by all means do so, but I have no idea when this helmet will be available at that kind of price point again. It typically remains pretty close to $700. But something else I wanted to discuss was an interesting finding I noticed on the aforementioned poll I just briefly introduced. As you can see, the leading vote for how much you would spend on an ANOVOS KYLO REN helmet was not actually a price, it was an alternative product in the Hasbro KYLO REN Black Series helmet. Now for those of you that aren't familiar with this product, it is an officially licensed helmet made by Hasbro, and it's a very solid product for the price point of around $80 to $90 with some great potential. The thing is, in order for this helmet to look and feel good, it needs some serious modifications done to it. You need to mesh the two halves of this helmet together because they do anything but stay together, as you can see with me struggling trying to keep them together in this clip, and you need to paint the helmet to look more aesthetically pleasing and less plastic looking. And if you want full accuracy, you need to remove the visor and replace it with mesh. Also, as you can see in this side-by-side comparison, the Black Series is noticeably larger and wider than the ANOVOS, and this can sort of lead to a bobblehead effect, leading many to sort of heat in the sides and narrow the helmet a little bit. Also, you're going to need to basically gut the entire inside of the helmet because it's not in the least bit comfortable. I mean, does that look comfortable to you? Just trust me, it's not unless you gut it and put padding in there. The best way to go about these mods, honestly, is just to hire the fantastic Richard Campbell to do your work for you and deliver an incredibly awesome and accurate helmet. This service will cost you roughly $325 and will take about 12 weeks for you to receive yours in the mail. These helmets are absolutely fantastic, and I think it's important to not only talk about how great the ANOVOS is, but to also present you some other options if you're in the market for a Kylo helmet. Another route you could go would be to purchase a fan-made helmet kit from one of the great prop makers out there like BB Props or JJ Industries and send it off to be painted by one of the great artists in the Knights of Ren Facebook group like Jackson Rupert or Artists in FX. This service will cost you a total of roughly $550, but if you're in search of an amazing Kylo Ren helmet, then you can definitely take this route and know you'll be getting a fantastic one. So while I'm personally a fan of the ANOVOS KYLO REN helmet above all others at this point, especially if you can get it at a discounted price, which I think you can if you wait for the right time and shop around, I do want to let you know that if price is the biggest factor for you and you don't feel comfortable dropping $700, there are some other great options out there for you that will deliver you a product you'll love. But as much as I've talked up the ANOVOS, I have to admit that there is one flaw with this product, but it's an extremely easy fix. The mesh that ANOVOS used in this helmet is very easy to see through, and I'm guessing their goal was practicality first and foremost, but what this increased vision results in is the ability for people to see your eyes through the mesh, which you absolutely do not want. But this is an extremely easy $5 fix, and I want to give credit to Sawyer Hyman for first coming up with this solution. Basically, all you do is head to eBay and type in Kingwin KFT 120mm fan filter cooling and order one. Once you've received this item, all you have to do is take the mesh out from below the fan and cut it to size, then simply put it behind the pre-existing mesh inside the helmet, and your eyes are no longer visible to the outside world. Take a look at the difference between the original mesh and the mod that I just mentioned. The difference is night and day, and while it's not necessarily ideal that you have to do this for a $700 helmet, it's such an easy and cheap fix that is not a huge deal. But I will say that the interior of the helmet is incredibly comfortable with all the lining and is easily customizable with the 6 pieces of padding that are included with attached Velcro on them that very stably attach to the interior lining with absolute ease. This is definitely the most comfortable helmet that I've ever worn, both for cosplay and basically anything else. You put this thing on your head and it feels like air. It's pretty remarkable. And the included padding allows for increased flexibility for various head sizes and comfort variabilities, which is also a nice feature. Okay, so before we wrap up, I wanted to show you guys some side-by-side comparisons of a standard Black Series, a modded Black Series, the ANOVOS helmet, and obviously Kylo Ren himself. I tried to get the angles as close as I could, but with the varying helmet sizes, it was a bit tricky. I included the modded Black Series just for frame of reference, but I will say that it was not heat-shaped or anything like that, just a new paint job and the two halves were meshed together. The visor was still retained, as you can see. But looking at the footage of the various helmets, I do want to make it clear that no one is really expecting a $90 helmet to be as nice as a $700 one. These side-by-side comparisons are meant to show you the differences between the Black Series and the ANOVOS, and just how noticeable those differences are is totally up for interpretation, as is the case for any costume piece. If you're in the market for a Kylo helmet, the decision you need to make for yourself is whether you prefer the look of the ANOVOS or the Black Series, and if you prefer the ANOVOS look, whether that look is worth $700 to you. To me it is, but to each their own. And here's some video of me in costume with the various helmets on, and in full transparency and before anyone comments it, the belt buckle is technically upside down and being pulled down a little bit by the saber. I was chasing daylight when filming this, so the main focus is really the helmets, and once again whether you consider the differences to be either drastic or subtle. I'd say with the hood up the differences are still noticeable, but less so because it's a little more difficult to see the full detail of the helmets themselves, so whether you plan to go hood up or hood down could help you make your decision. Okay, so as we wrap things up, I hope that I provided you all the information you need in order to make an informed decision about whether the ANOVOS Kylo Ren Premier helmet is for you. I think if you're a collector or building a Kylo costume and you want to take your game to the next level, this helmet is definitely the place to start. It's obviously not cheap at $700, but ANOVOS offers 10% off coupons fairly often, and if you search online, you can find discounted prices at certain times. Ordering directly from ANOVOS would ideally be the best way to go about getting one of these helmets, but they rarely have them in stock due to the high demand for them, so I'd honestly just head over to eBay or another reputable retailer and order from there if you feel comfortable doing that. I personally haven't had any issue whatsoever, and I haven't heard of anyone else having any problems either, so I think you'd be fine ordering from a third party. Either way though, I really appreciate you sticking with me throughout this entire video, and hopefully I provided you some quality information. If you liked this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more product reviews in the future. Movie reviews are my main gig, and I do product reviews every now and then, so I don't want to mislead you and have you subscribe for something you don't consistently get. So if you like movies or you just want to wait for the next product review, please do subscribe. And obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this video and the product itself. Do you think this helmet is worth the price tag? Let's have a discussion about it. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.